Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about Married at First Sight, Season 18, Episode 12.
Listen, I need y'all to subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. Blair, you ready to walk us through this episode?
I'm ready.
Let's go, please.
So Thomas is going to meet Camille's family. It's her dad, her uncle, and her grandma.
Yeah.
She tells the family that he's a good guy, and Thomas says that they did a good job raising her. She's beautiful inside and out. The dad tells him that she's independent and very much a go-getter. And grandma says she was spoiled. She pointed for everything that she wanted before she could even talk.
Oh, nice.
So they show Thomas the book of the clippings of Camille's sports history.
Yeah.
And the dad says that she was a really good athlete. She really didn't have that competitive fire, but she was a polite player and he would encourage her to be more aggressive. So Thomas is feeling like he has a better understanding of Camille after visiting her family.
What is your thoughts on this beautiful scene before we take it to hell?
I thought it was a nice scene. I felt like the family was warm and welcoming to Thomas. They seemed to get along pretty good. So I thought it was nice. It was nice seeing them have this good interaction.
Yeah, I actually thought it was nice. I actually, truth be told, we always talk about, or at least let me speak for myself. I always talk about how marrying someone in this sense is always hard anyway, without the drama, right? So it would have been very interesting, as I was interested in watching Camille and Thomas meet people family, like what a happy couple or what a couple that is trying to be happy looks like meeting the family, besides all the other couples that we saw tonight. You get what I'm saying? But I thought it was a good flag for Married at First Sight, as they try to parade them first as this is what our show is about. Okay, that's only one couple out of the rest.
Yeah.
You know?
So we move on to and A-Catchy. We just see a brief video from A-Catchy saying that he was supposed to move back into the apartment today, but he's having mixed emotions.
Okay.
He initially said yes, but now he thinks he needs time. He really isn't feeling like himself around her. He doesn't think moving back in is the best idea, and he doesn't want to lose his peace. He's gotten it back since he's been in his own space. He'd rather take it slow and just enjoy each other's presence.
Okay. What is your thoughts on that?
Nothing new. I mean, I figure A-Catchy is also not a man of his word.
He's
so.
not.
So I'm just like, it just kind of tracks, you know,
Okay,
it tracks.
okay. It's funny when we're no longer surprised by your foolishness.
Yeah.
Right? It's so funny how he's like to say, or like to keep reminding us that, you know, he's at peace, where whole time I only see him be the chaos. You get what I'm saying? So like you said, he's not a man of his word. He gave the experts his word. Of course, he didn't follow through. So we go definitely talk about this more within this episode, because I think there's some things that A-Catchy is trying to tell us that I'm just not buying. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So we get into Michelle and David.
Uh-oh, y'all.
So David stopped by Allen and Madison's the night before. Then they all went out to a bar together. They're going to see Michelle's family. She explains how she's having a hard time in Chicago, but she clarifies actually it's in this marriage.
Wow.
Okay. David thought that they were progressing, but they're not.
Okay.
Michelle asked about a text that she got from him. The text she got was, "You are so fine, I want to eat you up."
Ooh.
She asked what that was about. David said that he was texting his cousin. His cousin sent a picture of some food and he sent it to her, but he deleted it quickly. He didn't really realize Michelle got the text message. He says that his cousin went to a place in Chinatown. They were trying to get him to come out there, but he wasn't trying to go out there. Michelle asks, "How did you confuse me with your cousin Denise?"
Hey, how?
He said that his phone was cracked. He texted Denise before, so it was just right underneath Michelle's name. Michelle asked, "So you didn't text Madison or Allen since you were linking up with them?" And he said he texted Allen in the group chat. That was about it with the guys.
Oh, my gosh.
So any thoughts before they get to her family's home?
Oh, my gosh, David. Like, it's funny because even how Blair read the scene, mind you, who was doing most of the talking is David.
Yeah.
Even when it kind of felt like she let it go because she already knew it was a lie, he was like, you know, he's all the way like in Chinatown and like, you know, and just sending me food, and, you know, the food was so fine, I just wanted to eat it up. And I'm just like, David, why are you lying to this woman? First of all, David doesn't surprise me. I've been telling y'all David's been a child since the first episode, right? So my thing is, David, you haven't been in a happy marriage, right? You've been showing up, at least I can say you've been showing up every day to the marriage, right? Why do you feel the need to lie to her, right? Like, obviously, even I can see that wasn't the truth. First of all, if you're going to lie, always blame it on the alcohol. Number two, do not involve people that she can get in touch with. Like why are you saying your cousin for?
Yeah.
Like, the cousin that you introduced her to. Like, that makes no sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Always blame it on the alcohol. And number three, like, this is my problem with the men. My headphones are sliding off, but it's okay, right? My problem with the men this season, outside of Thomas and who is the other guy? Juan, but Juan got different problems, right? Okay. But mainly Allen and David, right? My problem is these men don't have no spines, right? So he feels the need to lie to this woman as if, like, I'm gonna get in trouble by Michelle. Michelle has been treating you basically like a kid, basically treating you like you are below her, basically treating you like you don't have anything, and you know, granted, but at the same time, you going to lie, that makes her look at you like, okay, now I really don't respect you. What is your thoughts on just the blaming it on the cousin and the food stuff that he's trying to do?
Yeah, I would have thought he would have had more time to come up with a better lie.
Yeah,
I'm glad he's a bad liar. That way,
no, it is entertaining.
That way, you know, it's something that we can laugh and enjoy. And Michelle knew from the gate, you're full of it.
Yeah.
So David, I'm pretty much on the same wavelength of just tell the truth. The lady don't like you anyway.
She don't.
So you might as well just tell her, hey, to be honest, let's be real, it's not working out. I've been texting people, I've been talking to people, and I should have been upfront with you about it, but you know, we're not going to work out.
Yeah, exactly.
And that would have been perfectly fine. I mean, still, I would have wish that you would have broke up with her before you start, you know, talking about eating people up. Yeah. But you know, if you did it first and you got to apologize later, that's another thing. But this lie is total BS.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, I would say that he's talking to someone that he's obviously comfortable with, or put like this, I will hope he is. Hopefully that's not his pickup line. Hopefully this is not like somebody new and he just saying that off top, because I would be like, man, that's a very immature way to approach dating or even, you know, whatever. But it just comes off as like, David, why do you feel the need that you owe her an explanation? You get what I'm saying? At that, a terrible lie. Entertaining, but at the end of the day, it doesn't break that immaturity framework that Dr. Pepper was talking about.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying?
So they get to her family's home. One of Michelle's friends is there. They discuss how they met each other pretty much the summer before college.
Yeah.
The friend thought that she was boring, but and they were supposed to room together, but they decided not to put each other's names on the rooming. But they ended up on the same floor, got to know each other, and their relationship grew. And Michelle also opened up and flourished in college. Michelle is having a hard time with the romantic connection. She does shut down and get snippy, and David says at least she's being honest.
Okay.
The friend says that when Michelle gets into her comfort zone, she does open up, and she's like a very loyal cheerleader type of person. And if you win her love, you will never lose it. So give her grace to learn who she truly is.
What do you mean if I earn your love, you will never lose it? When you sign up for this process, you definitely take out the earning part.
And willingly give.
Thank you. Come on now.
Yes.
So like, that's why I don't really understand this whole person that they are describing, who we've been watching for weeks and weeks, and I haven't seen this person that they are describing about Michelle, right? Even though David's a fool, we already knew that's not anything new, but everybody keep trying to tell us that Michelle is this life of the party. Oh, definitely check the after party with us. This life of the party, and she's all this, and Michelle is over here giving us this whole, I don't even recognize this person that I see on the screen. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
It's you, because you know why? A stranger met you, and she said you're boring, right? And then she didn't want to room with you. You get it? So that's why I'm like, this whole facade of basically like, once you actually like earn me, you'll never lose me. No, that's not true. And then when you sign up for a process like you basically take the power of earning, and actually you have to commit and just show up. You get what I'm saying? As your true self. What is your thoughts on this scene? Because I have more questions.
I guess my main takeaway is that people who want to build walls around themselves also want to keep themselves walled in. And I'm not going to do the work of breaking down your walls in order to get to you to find out if you're a person worth my time. So if you're going to wall yourself up in a corner by yourself, it sounds like that's where you want to be. I feel like not we, but Michelle is too old. Like 36 to 38 or whatever the case may
Michelle 38, yep.
And if you want to put yourself out there and experience a loving marriage, then you have to get beyond your walls.
Yeah.
And if she can't do that, then she probably needs to enlist the help of a therapist.
Yeah.
We do have experts on the show, but it doesn't seem like that's their specialty of helping people break down their walls.
They was off today.
And I will say that Michelle, if you're going to come into an experience like this, you got to be open. But she says she shuts down really quickly. So I really don't know what to say to her other than your walls are keeping you in a prison.
Yeah.
And it's not up to anybody else to save you. So
100%. Now I have a question. Even though they are not in a happy marriage, how do you feel, or if you feel any type of way, like whenever she's, especially in front of public company, such as her family and like we're out in public as a couple, that she has no problem just saying like, you know, like I'm struggling in this marriage and things like that. Besides, like, it just feels like she doesn't show up just to have a good time. Like, I always feel like there's a place and time for things. And I feel like with the family, that's not the time to keep saying like, oh yeah, I'm struggling in this marriage and things of that nature. So like, do you have any thoughts on that? Or like, how do you feel about showing up as a unit?
Well, the thing is, I don't think that she needs to fake the funk. Like, they're in this new weird married at first sight situation, and people are going to ask them how they're doing, and I don't think there is a point in lying or fronting as though things are better than they are. I think that Michelle can be honest about they're having a hard time, and don't give the family false hope that this is somebody that's going to be around for a while.
I mean, so, but I'm sitting right there next to you though.
I know, but I'm just saying that I don't fault her for being honest about where they stand in their relationship. I don't get the point of showing up as a united front unless you guys are really in this thing together and want this thing to go the distance. I feel like, you know, if you're in a relationship to where you are you've had an argument or maybe things aren't that great right now, no, it's not necessary to bring friends and family into all of your highs and lows. But Michelle, this is something very unique, and I think it's better to be honest than to make it seem like it's opposite of where you actually are. So.
I don't know. I'm kind of in the middle, and maybe I just feel some type of way about Michelle saying it, because Michelle for someone who has a lot to say about where they are currently in their marriage, she has done nothing to basically put it in a better place.
But I will say she didn't down David during the discussion. She said it was her.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like fake humbleness. It's not like, okay, it's you. You know it's you, but you've been saying it's you since week 2. So it's like, okay, stop saying that. Like, stop saying that, because I have to, even though you're not saying it's me, I have to sit there and listen to you every time and say it's me. And then when we get home, you like leave.
What do you think would have been a better way to have the conversation?
I think it would have been I think that was a conversation that shouldn't have been had, in my opinion.
So, but they're going to ask, so what should she have said?
She said, how are we doing? Talk about the good stuff. I don't think it's called faking the funk. But if you say that you want to get out the funk, and if you say that you want to actually improve in your communication and improve in your marriage, then lead with the good, right? But she don't lead with the good. She only give us the bad. You get what I'm saying? And then she give us the bad, and then she's be the one that is the bad. Yeah. You know, so I'm like, okay, then what's the point of you even like talking, especially since you don't come back and like talk about the good part. So that's why I'm like, it comes off as fake humbleness. It comes off as fake accountability, because she's going to say, yeah, the connection is not there, while at the same time she's not doing anything to improve the connection. Hey, we talked for 20 minutes. It's like, okay, cool. Now I'm only talking about this only from like, you know, Michelle POV and David POV. We know David has 2 jobs. We know David's a liar. We know David got tattoos of women on him. We know David don't have a savings. We know David is banking on a promotion. We know David can be a lot. But we are talking about if you was to commit to the process, right? You have an out at the end of this process. So like, it's not like, okay, I'm married and that I'm stuck with this guy. But at the same time, you are saying that you are the problem. You are saying that you are the one that is basically failing on your part, and you're still leading with that. So it's like, I felt like for once you with your family, I'm actually happy she did not bring up the text. I really thought she was going to bring up the text messages, because it was one part where she was talking about we need to talk privately and things like that. But I think she was talking in the confessional, talking about like basically gathering with her cousins and her sisters and things of that nature. And I was like, I hope she don't leave David out there with these strangers while she talk about this text message at the family thing. But, you know, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. So we move on to Madison and Allen. They go to throw a baseball around. Madison talks a little bit more about her history, how when she was in middle school, girls were pretty mean. She was bullied about how she looked. And she switched schools. She was the new girl. Then in high school, she played softball. And that was where she actually felt like she belonged with her teammates. Allen tells her that it shows her strength and determination, and it's very admirable. And Madison says that softball reminds her of a time where she was coming into herself. Her family didn't have a lot. She was on food stamps at one point. Her 12th birthday party, she invited a lot of her friends over. Her mom came with her boyfriend and made a fool of herself. So things like that were hard for her to deal with as a kid. She did make something beautiful out of her life, which started as a bad situation. Allen is sorry that her mom wasn't a support to her, and Madison explains that that's one of the reasons why having children scares her, because she does not want to disappoint them. Allen sees just by being around her that she does make good decisions and has confidence in the woman and the mother that she's going to be. Madison feels closer to Allen after having this conversation. She would love for this to work out. She hates that it hasn't been natural for her. But these moments, although they're great, they haven't flipped the romantic switch on, but it makes her like him better as a person.
Dude, you want to go first or me?
I'll go first. I really don't have too much to say. I feel like Madison has gotten more vulnerable here with Allen, which is nice, but he's still very much in the friend zone. And I don't think there's anything Allen can do to change the situation. I know I discussed before, if he could just try and make an effort and maybe even get rejected if you have to, just to show that you're interested in the girl. But if Madison is saying things like the romantic switch is not on, then why would I put myself out there to be rejected if someone is telling me so clearly that they are not into me?
Oh, no, 100%.
Yeah.
No, when it comes to the switch, he's trying to flick it on, but she got her hand over the, like,
she do.
You know?
She does.
Let me address what you said, right, about her being vulnerable. There's such thing as fake vulnerability, and that's what that was, right? It wasn't real, because it led with something that was fake at the end. She stamped it off with, I feel closer to you. No, you don't. Right, you do not feel closer to Allen. We did a video yesterday called Madison. It's not fooling anyone. She ain't fooling us. And I don't want y'all to fall for this, right? Many times than not, I'm gonna tell y'all something, and I wonder if y'all agree with me, friends, right? Many times than not, when people get bullied and they are not the cool kids growing up, there's a desire for them to not want to be bullied, of course, because bully usually come with some type of fighting or some type of, like, you know, attack, right? And they want to be part of the group, but they want to be part of the group because they want to be part of the group that make fun of the other group, right? And Madison comes off as the type of person who basically, like, you know, I wasn't cool, and, like, you know, I wasn't like, you know, I basically was getting bullied and basically how I look. So I finally joined the softball team, and now I was actually cool, and I was with the cool kids, and I had a not vibe. What is that thing called when it's like a tribe? Not vibe. A tribe, right? She had a tribe, right? But the thing about it is Madison did not use her experience to basically, even though she's nice, but truth be told, she's basically just hiding in plain sight.
She's being polite.
She's hiding in plain sight. You get what I'm saying? But she's basically lying and basically giving him fake hope of this make me feel closer to you. And I hate that this romantic switch that is magic. You get what I'm saying? It's not turned on. But it goes back to what Blair said from the beginning. She don't like this man. And there's nothing that he can do to make her like him. You get what I'm saying? And truth be told, Allen didn't do anything to help himself because he was bending backwards and things of that nature to try to get her to like him, you know? And at the end of the day, I think Madison is happy at the point talking about her story that she don't have to get bullied no more, and that now she's actually part of a tribe and she's cool now, and now she don't have to be talked about, and now she could be the group that talk about the other group. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I don't really fall for that type of bullying and cool kids type of stuff, because more times than not, you want to be part of the cool kids to talk about the other kids and things of that nature. So that's why I'm like, with Madison, with this fake vulnerability, miss me with that.
So we get to MM and A-Catchy. They are hanging out with their friends separately, which I love because I'm tired of seeing them together.
Wow.
So MM takes her friend with her to get her dog washed. MM says that they are navigating how to move forward. There is disrespect, and the friend tells her that it's really too early for all of that. MM Mem is direct and she's trying to figure out what needs to be done, and it's like pulling teeth.
Yeah.
He hasn't called or texted to move back in. Now she wants them to ease their way back into moving in. She hasn't had a conversation with him outside of the experts, and she needs to talk to him to continue this, to talk about, let's start from different places. We're just separate and live apart and just slow down a little bit.
Okay.
M would like to see him put in effort to get to know her.
Okay.
Now, with A-Catchy and his friend, they go to the gym. He said that it started off fun, then it became chaos. She always needs an explanation. And the friend says, well, she's probably just trying to get to know you.
Wow.
And A-Catchy responds by saying that it's hard to explain who you are. And he asks his friend, like, tell me who you are. And the friend is like, well, yeah, that's kind of hard to say who I am.
Oh, it's not.
It's not that hard.
It's not hard.
He thinks that she's too aggressive. She blew up at the dinner. He was out. He said he couldn't deal with that. And he's trying to start from a clean slate.
Yeah.
He is uncomfortable around her, and that is a major factor as well.
One thing I did not like about this scene right here, I'm gonna start with A-Catchy, right? He's over here talking about, I gotta get my aggression out. What is the aggression that you have?
Yeah.
Like now, like, you're trying to make it seem like I have made you have so much if you have pent up aggression against me and I did nothing to you, you a dangerous man. You a maniac. You get what I'm saying? Because the fact that you gotta go and like, it's not, and it's one thing if you made it seem like this is just what I do with my workout, but he specifically said I need to work out this aggression. Why are you aggressive towards me? Why you're feeling towards and then you calling me aggressive, right? Why you have those feelings towards me when I done nothing to you, and I'm only going by what we've seen on the TV. So I'm already on A-Catchy's line, and I'm looking at the friend. The friend can kind of tell, like, when he was kind of talking, it's like, your problems that you call my problems and things like that are not really problems.
Yeah. Maybe
she's just trying to get to know you. And truth be told, tell me about yourself is not a hard question. On top of that, the way that MM says that she's direct, that would actually help me more. Tell me about myself. You get what I'm saying? Because if I say something across the lines of, hey, my name is Chris, and I have been playing music since I was 5 years old and things of that nature. Actually, since 3 years old. Then MM seemed like the type of person to be like, oh, what instruments do you play? That's easy.
Yeah.
Dude, you get what I'm saying? Oh,
and just to throw it in, I don't think she's asking these open-ended questions.
No.
She's like, tell me about how you grew up, your family.
Yeah.
Let me see pictures of your childhood. So already he's lying.
Yeah. So it's like actually thank you for actually helping me tell you about myself. You get what I'm saying? With these direct questions. So it's those type of things that I feel like is dangerous to for him to paint that picture and for him to make it seem like he got to work out this aggression that he have because because she brings chaos to him that he got to go punch something. It's like, nah, man, relax. Now you're doing too much. Yeah. Now to go to MM. Oh, unless you have something to add about A-Catchy.
Okay, yeah. Only thing I'll say about A-Catchy is I don't think he knows who he is.
No,
and I think that's why.
That's deep, Blair.
And I think that's why he gets so defensive. Is because he has this character that he likes to present to the world. But when you start asking questions to really find out about his history and who he is as a person, it's empty. There's nothing there because he is trying to create all this fluff. Like MM says, there's a lot of fluff in the way he talks. He kind of meanders when he talks because I think that there really is emptiness there. And I think that he's frustrated by the fact of, if I just can let you be around me, I can show you the person that I want to be versus explaining who I actually am. Because I can sit up here and explain to you things I like, things I don't like, stuff that gets on my nerves, things that I need to work on about myself. And it's not like pulling teeth because I know myself. I've been me for all these 30-something years. Yeah. Same way he's been himself for 41 years, but he still don't know who he is.
41 years. Like, exactly.
And so that to me is maybe a part of the frustration that we're witnessing. And it's totally just a theory, but I really don't think he knows himself well enough to explain himself.
I'm about to say, like, it's very strange because you opened up another portal for me, right?
Go ahead. Yeah.
The fact that, okay, if I was talking to a 5-year-old and tell me about themselves, they wouldn't be able to. Okay, I like games. I like gummy bears. Like, you get what I'm saying?
That's more than what
even
you
that
said.
is more, right? Right. But the whole point is, A-Catchy, you had to tell someone about yourself to be on the show. you obviously had to tell somebody about yourself with these matchmaking episodes that we see. So obviously you know how to present well, or present well enough to basically make it seem like you know something.
Yeah.
So why can't you just basically do what you did in front of Pastor Cal, Dr. Pia, and like Dr. Pepper and things of that nature? And then if MM is the type that asks direct questions, let that help you. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Now to MM, right?
Yes.
I'll let you go first with MM on this one.
Okay. With MM, I think that this is a good place for her to be. She's finally kind of starting to get the picture that they're not just going to jump in, be husband and wife in the traditional sense, and it has to be handled a different way because she's dealing with a fool.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that she's coming to that realization. And, you know, I see that she still wants to have a conversation with him outside of the experts, which I think is totally fine. So that way they can get on the same page and come to an understanding, because they both agreed to something that never happened. So I can understand that. My only critique, which is that if you're going to fall back, fall all the way back.
Yeah.
And by falling all the way back, that means whether we have a conversation or not, that's up to him.
Yeah.
Now, she's still wanting to have this conversation and to kind of, you know, figure out what needs to be done and all this type of stuff. But I think that kind of goes to what Pastor Cal was saying about stop trying to find a formula to the situation. And I'm not taking it as your art and I'm math or science and I need to chill out on my science brain. I take it to say that there is no formula with a fool.
There is none.
So there is no need to figure out what needs to be done or what conversations need to be had, because it's not going to make a difference.
And if there's no formula to a fool, why do you advise us to move back in with each other, Dr. Pia? Like that's what I'm saying. I don't want to be so critical of MM. I am going to be critical this episode, but it's going to be so small, not in this scene, but in their scene. But I don't want to get so bored with his foolery that I start looking at her like, oh, maybe you need to do this. Maybe you need to do that. Maybe you need to fall all the way back, because I don't know if her actions are reactions or is it proactive. So in the midst of him not being able to move back in when he said he was going to do, because he's not a man of his word, time has went by. She haven't heard, so she's probably was expecting, hey, you promised that you was going to try and things of that nature. She fell back. She actually did not put her hands on the wheel, and now she's like, now it's to the point to where we're in a deeper hole than like we was when we met with the experts. So I don't think that advice will work for where we are now compared to where we were then when you promised to move back in. So it's like, to me, I feel like MM should walk away, but that's why I said in the after party, hopefully y'all understood what I meant when I said this. I said that I wish she wasn't so successful like in jest. Of course, like I want her to be successful. I want all of y'all to be successful, right? But I said that because I think she views things as a challenge to get over, besides looking at some challenges as, you know what, I'm done, right? And I think A-Catchy is one of those people that actually be like that. A-Catchy is one of those people that you should be like, I'm done. There's no challenge to overcome with this person, you know?
Yeah. And that's my point too, is I want her to conserve her energy and to protect herself. And by her wanting to further have more conversation with him and wanting to spend more time trying to get on the same page, I think that it's not worth it.
No, it's not. It's not.
So we get to Carla and Juan. So Juan and Carla write, and then they read their letters to their younger selves. Carla wrote to her 10-year-old self and explained how she was sensitive. She can drop her armor. It's okay to be soft, vulnerable, and different, and it's okay to be loved. Juan thinks that he has experienced her walls being up at times, and she explains that she didn't know how to always express her emotions. She would just get very cold. Girls weren't very nice to her growing up. She always went into her own world, but she learned that she was dimming her light, and she started being herself, doing the things that she wanted to do, and that's how she was able to come out of her shell.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to address that after Blair walk us through Juan letter, because that letter kind of made me have a opinion about overall this scene. And I want to walk it through with y'all and Blair. and let me know if I'm off, Blair.
Okay.
All right.
So Juan wrote to his 6-month-old, 6-year-old, and 16-year-old self.
Mm-hmm.
So at 6 months old, Juan was sent off because a housemate tried to steal him. His parents ended up coming back for him.
Yeah.
At 6 years old, his parents left again to go to America in search for the American dream. They did end up coming back for him in 8 months. And he tells himself that once you get to the U.S., life will be tough. There will be poverty. Your family will lose their home, and you will have to learn a new language.
Okay.
During that time, he gets like very tearful. He starts crying. He kind of has to take a break during the letter because the emotions are a bit overwhelming.
Yes.
At 16 years old, his dad was diagnosed with prostate cancer, but his dad was able to live, and everything turned out to be okay. So Carla gives him a hug. He has a lot of pent up stuff, and he said that he used to be more angry, but he's kind of learned how to be calm and overcome his triggers.
Okay.
So Carla asked how he overcame the hard time at 16, and he explains just his dad's attitude. The night his dad was diagnosed, they went out dancing. His dad never complained, and the strength from his parents became his strength, and he started to choose happiness and fun over anger, and is really moving in the spirit that every day is a blessing. So Carla appreciates him for sharing, being vulnerable, and she gives him a hug.
Scroll me up to Carla's letter, please.
Yep.
And she said that she is sensitive, that she can drop the armor. You know what I'm saying? That she is soft. I'm paraphrasing, right? When Juan was reading his letter, I was looking at Carla. And Carla was kind of giving him this empty look, in my opinion. It's my opinion, right? And what actually made me like stay in this opinion was the after party, right? Even though we seen Carla give him a hug, it was like, okay, it almost as if it's like that's what you're supposed to do. I ain't really feel nothing behind it. But then Juan was continuing the story on the after party. Keisha didn't even hug him, but you can see the compassion in her eyes more, and she don't even know the guy, right? Than what Carla had, and this is supposed to be his wife. Now, hard stop right there, right? I don't want to blame Carla yet because I want to present a question. Is she cold? And things of that nature, things that she basically warned herself in her letter, what not to be, and basically saying like you are sensitive, you are soft, you are all these things. And is her coldness a reaction to where they are, Juan and Carla, in their relationship? Or do Carla just have that by herself? Because I can look at it from both POVs of Juan. I don't know how much compassion you will want from someone when the person that's like been telling you in the marriage, like, you know what, I need kind of cuddles. I need hand holding. I need some type of compassion. I need some type of intimacy. But whole time we're reading this letter and I'm sitting across the room from you, right? Every time we go out on a date, I got to bring my resume and like a business plan. So it's kind of hard for me to meet you in the intimacy, compassion part because it's a reaction to our current marriage, right? So I just felt like when he was reading that letter, especially the type of letter that it was, I was looking at Carla's eyes and I was like, your eyes kind of say like you're just waiting for him to be done. I felt like you did not feel him while he was reading that letter, but I don't know if that's her or that's a reaction to where they are currently. Am I making sense?
Yeah, you're making sense.
Okay.
And if I can just, if we're going down this line of thinking and I have those two choices, then I would say that it's a reaction to their relationship.
Okay.
Because I feel like we've seen Carla in different aspects, and she is a very intuitive and empathetic person.
I would think so.
And she's shown herself to be that way with MM when she could sense and see that MM was getting worked up
here
and Carla really did pull her to the side to try to calm down the situation and be there for her. Even at that dinner, she and Madison was sitting next to each other hugged up. So I'm just like, I think Carla is who she says she is as far as being this intuitive person, and maybe because she and Juan just haven't really connected on the deeper part yet, maybe that is part of her wall, you know. as far as, expressing her emotion or being there for him in kind of a deeper way. Maybe there's a hesitancy because he hasn't met her where she is.
And now it's like, it's almost served as protection.
And maybe there's a sort of protection when it comes to Juan. Like, I just think about certain people that, I may have come across in my life, and to where if, you're somebody I really truly love and care about, like, I may show affection and comfort to you in a different way than somebody that I'm not quite there yet. Or even if I've had a bad experience with that person, I might be a little bit more rigid, in just my body language with them, because it hasn't been a comfortable experience, up to that point. So
and I would say to that is I'm gonna put the blame on Juan, right? Because if she is all these things that she wrote a letter to herself about and things of that nature, like she is sensitive. Basically, she's telling her grown self is telling her little self, because obviously she had like trouble with that. So it's like, okay, Juan, you have not led this marriage enough to the point where she feel comfortable and that she have to put her walls up, if we go with that POV. That now, like, how can I show up for you as a wife, where literally the last scene that we had in the last episode, I had to show up as a mentee. Right. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, and especially since we go sprinkling in just a little after party, because we are going to cover it. Like, he can't even hold a hand. He can't even cuddle. You get what I'm saying? We're not even talking about sex here, right? So my thing is, the only reason why I was looking at Carla that way is because Carla is very into energy, right? She's very into, like, she said she want to have this type of hair booth, and then after that they go do Pilates, and then they go do some type of, like, energy stuff. And I'm like, well, obviously you can see his energy is volatile right now. Yeah. And you're just staring at him just like a deer in headlights. That's what it came off to me. You know what I mean? Do you have anything else to add about Juan or like Carla in like this thing?
No.
Okay, make sure y'all let us know what y'all think about that, and make sure I'm not too off.
So we get to Madison and Allen going fishing. Yeah. He used to fish with his dad as a child, and it was a way for him to connect with his dad because his dad didn't speak much, and it was just a space of them spending time together.
That's most dads.
His parents used to speak bad about each other to him, and he appreciates just the simplicity and safe spaces in life that he can create for himself.
Yeah.
Madison asked him, someone said you or one of your friends said that you always dated hot messes. Is there something that draws you to that? And Allen talks about how he finds it easier to connect with somebody who might be going through or gone through trauma because they can relate to each other in that way. He shares that when he was younger, he was in a long distance relationship with a woman that they bonded over trauma. And he later found out that she cheated on him with 15 people.
Oh, my gosh.
And he shares that it also took him a while to figure out who he was as a person. There was a 14-year custody battle. He was trying to manage his emotions, dealing with people and the judges. So it was kind of like he was in survival mode. So he didn't really have the time and the space to just kind of learn himself. The things that affect him now are his relationship with his family. His stepsister, he felt like she was upset with him because she didn't really get to have that mother in her life because his mom was always working on the custody cases. He did end up speaking to her before the wedding, and she told him that it wasn't his fault. Okay. He knows that logically, but those feelings are still there as though it is his fault. Madison appreciates the vulnerability being shared, and he knows that he can't fix everyone. The adjustment he's making in his marriage is because this is real for him. He's willing to make these changes. If he walks out of this with a loving marriage, then it'll be worth everything. And then they end up having a hug.
What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are Allen just seems like a really decent person, and I think that he probably is still, I think knows that he needs to get over the trauma bonding. Yeah. And I think he's at a place where he wants to and is willing to, but I think that he's not really seeing his worth in the process. I think that with Madison, she has pretty much rejected him a lot of the time. Yeah. And I think that he's getting fed up with it, but he isn't yet standing up for himself in the way I would like to see him to. Yeah. And that doesn't mean like yelling at the girl or leaving or, taking all his stuff out the apartment or anything. But I think that when he talked to Dr. Pepper and her and was trying to really gain some clarity, I felt like he could have pushed the conversation in the direction a little bit more, but I think that he kind of didn't want to rock the boat any more than that question already had. So
here's the thing. You know what J. Cole said. You got to multiply by 3.
Okay.
Right? So that means 15 times 3, what, 45? Whew. I would ask the question, Allen, did you find out that it was 15 guys after the fact? Or was it at one point one guy, and then you forgave her, and then it became 6 guys, and then you forgave her, and then it became 12 guys, and then you forgave her, and then 15, right? Here's the thing about it. You can't fix the past. It happened to you. It's life, right? So you can't look at the past and let that steer your future and say things like, if I make this marriage work, it will all be worth it. No, it won't, right? It won't fix your trauma, right? Sometimes you just got to, because it happened to you, it don't really have to be part of you. You get what I'm saying? Like it's just something that happened. It's the past, especially if she was the wrong party and things of that nature. It just is what it is. And that's why I don't want to use the word pushover. But my thing is this, Allen, that we seen you build up the courage to actually say what was wrong with you, or basically what you had, not wrong with you, but what you felt was wrong in the marriage with Madison, with Dr. Pepper. And in that moment, the conversation was steered in another direction. So I want to give you your credit for that. But at the same time, there is something to the trauma bonding that I'm like, hey, even though you may feel like you are a nice guy, and I know everybody is saying he's a nice guy, and he may be a nice guy, you know, a lot of women would not commit to this type of guy because he don't know how to stand up for himself in a way that is not passive. Right. And by the time you did stand up for yourself, this was already too late. She's already accumulated so many things. Right. I feel like I don't want to use toxic, language, but that's the only way I know how to talk for like this situation. You have to be a man and put your foot down on saying this is acceptable, this is not acceptable. And it doesn't have to do with anything with her, but towards disrespect towards you. There's things that Madison have done that is disrespectful towards you that you need to put your foot down and say, I will not accept this because I hold myself to a high esteem, right? It has nothing to do with trying to control somebody or trying to control her and things of that nature. But you need to actually get over the trauma bonding because you don't deserve someone else that is like, you deserve more than just what your trauma bond is. You get what I'm saying? Like basically like, oh, like, I basically been through this, so I can relate to someone who been through some things because we both the bottom of the dumpster. No. You don't need to deal with people like that, right? You need to think of yourself higher and better, right? To the point where you be like, you know what? I am a good person, if you are a good person, and I do deserve good things and nice things, and I worked hard, and like I built my house, like you done things to where you should be proud of, not to the point to where you're basically banking where you are in life and like it will all be worth it on a successful married at first sight marriage. Do you get what I'm saying? Like I think you should look like better, look further ahead than what you looking at with Madison, in my opinion.
So we get to Carla and Juan.
Yeah.
Carla is realizing that she was fearful of her past repeating itself. She doesn't want her walls to be built up again. So she plans to introduce Juan to her family and her parents. But per her parents' request, there will be no cameras.
Okay.
Thomas and Camille visit Thomas's birth mom, Feeney. He describes her as a party person, and he developed his relationship with her about 7 years ago.
Okay.
So they end up taking shots. The mom talks about when they first met, she started crying. She had her daughter when she was 16, and she was too young to raise 3 kids. She met a lady at an adoption place. They talked her into it. She ended up giving the baby away, but at that point, she felt like she made a mistake. The babies, Thomas and his brother.
Yeah.
Thomas says that she was apologetic, but she did what she needed to do at the time.
Yeah.
He really doesn't hold anything against her because he did grow up with a great family. So the mom cooked for them. They share a meal together, and Feeney explains how Thomas is very sensitive, but he is a kind and loving person.
This was my favorite scene of the night because she would not have got that healing without Thomas.
Yeah, that is so true.
And
he was so gracious.
And he have every right to feel, angry, to feel some type of way, right? For the situation that she may have found herself in at 15, 16, you know what I mean? But I hope Camille could see Thomas in this aspect, right? That the joy and even the character that the mother have in this scene. I'm like, look, she looked just like Thomas. Well, that is his mama. And she just comes off as someone that is like a lot of energy, like just fun to be around. You get what I'm saying? And I wonder just how easily that can be different if Thomas held that against her.
Yeah.
Where her life would be with regret and guilt and things like that. And how she described Thomas as like basically like my last puzzle piece. And you just don't know what you mean to someone when you give them the space to actually like mean it. That's why I was going in so much on Camille in the beginning, basically telling him what he's not. And I'm like, first of all, Thomas Ben had to deal with that from people that doesn't even affect his life directly. At that, people that do affect his life directly. So for you to come in, basically a mirror image of him, in my opinion, about how y'all both corny, right? It's like, who are you to really like come at him in this way when you just met him, right? He have done the work of being adopted. He has done especially the way he found out.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? He has done the work of being adopted, of feeling not wanted by his mama, right? And then done the work of actually accepting and forgiving his mama, right? And then done the work of actually having a relationship with his mama. This was not a meetup with you. This was not a meetup of him meeting up with the adopted mama. You get what I'm saying? With the adopted family. This was him meeting up with the person that gave him up at 15, 16 years old, and that he could sit down and say, you know what, mama, we family. This is my wife.
Yeah.
And I thought that was very beautiful out of every scene tonight. Literally, because I hope she sees that in him.
Yeah, I think that was huge.
Yeah.
And I think that Camille, as she's around Thomas, she's actually learning his character and who he is as a person. And I think that is so important when we're looking at dating or marriage to actually see the character of your partner, not just how it relates to you, but how it relates to the people around them, whether it's a stranger, their family, their friends, people that they've had issues with that they were able to get through. So I think that Thomas is just shown to be a super stable, steady guy. Yeah. And I think that Camille, or I hope she is, starting to appreciate the person he is outside of their relationship. I think that he's showing up perfectly wonderful as a husband to her, but just appreciating him as a person he is in no relation to you as well.
And I just want to add to that I'll be fine if we have multiple stories like this. We don't need the MM and like a catchy drama to make a good Married at First Sight season. We don't need the David and Michelle's and things of that nature.
This was so good.
Like give us stories that are deep, because marriage is already hard enough. We give us these type of stories more than the stories that y'all believe is going to bring ratings and things of that nature. And I think a lot of people would trust the process more if it shows things like this, in my opinion.
Yeah. So let's get to the foolishness.
Let's get to it. Right after, right?
So we've got MM and A-Catchy.
Yeah.
MM sent A-Catchy a text saying that they needed to have a conversation. So he is at the apartment to talk. Okay. A-Catchy explains that he would like to take a step back and get to know each other. And MM agrees. Yeah. He tells her that it's hard to be in spaces with her. He doesn't feel comfortable. It adds to his anxiety. And he doesn't want her to experience that version of him. MM explains to him that the ball is in his court. She is going to fall back a bit, but she would like to see the effort for him to communicate. She is here and willing. A-Catchy says that he will give effort and reach out, but he thought he was already reaching out. Apparently, she texted him for over a week and he did not respond.
He did not.
He says that we don't need to talk about that week. MM explains it feels like you're being dismissive, which hurts my feelings. A-Catchy apologizes if that's how she feels. And MM says, it's not if. That is how I feel. Okay. And A-Catchy responds, that I'm just not going to give you things the way that you want on your time. That's just how he is. MM doesn't see how that's beneficial to a healthy relationship.
It's not.
A-Catchy says that they're trying to get to a healthier space. You know what? Like, I apologize. Let's leave the past in the past. And you just want to tiptoe back into this zone. MM just tells him, if you don't reach out, you will not hear from me. And it seems like he's being defensive, is what she said. A-Catchy says that he is being defensive. MM says, if you don't want to talk about it, just tell me you don't want to talk about it. A-Catchy feels like that's what he already said. He will reach out to her, but this assertion doesn't feel like you you need me. It's like you're telling me do this, do that. She doesn't need any more clarity. He says, let's leave this in the past and go forward from here. He's going to get the things that he left, his sock and his pencil.
Yeah, pretty much.
She stopped calling him my husband. She came in hot and heavy. He wasn't on the same wavelength, so she is going to treat him as a man who would like to date her. And for the men who would like to date her, she lets them show their effort and interest in getting to know her before she makes her decision.
You first, Blair.
So first thing I want to say is that I think that this process makes things very difficult. And I think that this process in a way is a little bit dangerous because when we're talking about marriage and husband and wives, there is a level of intimacy and vulnerability and connection that the husband or the wife gets from you. And a stranger, sometimes even a boyfriend or a girlfriend, you don't get that same level of access to someone until you actually get the title husband and wife. And I think that with because she so respects the title of husband and wife, she was just kind of like grandfathering A-Catchy in to what it means to have a husband and all of the benefits that you get as a husband. I go out of my way for you. I think of you. I plan these dates for you. I reach out to you. There's no holding back. I don't have to play a game with you and saying, did you text me or I'm going to text you back. I don't have to do that because you're my husband and I'm going to treat you as such. Yet he didn't earn the title of husband. And because of that, I feel like she was treating him in a way that he did not do the work to gain. And when we're sitting here having this conversation of them getting on the same page of where we are, what we're doing, the ball is in whose court, fine. You know what I'm saying? Fine. The conversation, okay, we get you want to be on the same page. However, I did have a critique for MM.
Help me.
Is that if you're saying that you want to fall back, then I think that it would have been better for her to not have this conversation. I think that, if they did go a week without talking, she said here that she was texting him, he wasn't responding. To me, it sounds like she was still making the effort. And it sounded like that's not quite falling back. So
that was the pass. Just to correct that. That wasn't this past week. That was the pass that she was talking about.
Okay. So, so the only thing I really want to say is if you're going to fall back and you're letting the ball be in his court, we don't necessarily have to say it. Is all I'm saying. If you're going to let the ball be in his court, allow it to be in his court. He doesn't need to come and tell you, yes, I will contact you because I know you won't contact me. Would that level of clarity be wonderful? Absolutely. But is he going to be the type of person to give you that? No. So that's why I say, save your energy, save your time. If you're really falling back and letting him do his thing, the last time you talk to him might be the last time you talk to him. Trying to gain clarity and get on the same page, it might not be worth it, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? I want to give respect for trying to implement what Dr. Pia told her to do.
Yes.
Lead with your feelings, right? So she led with her feelings with saying that it feels dismissive and that hurts my feelings, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why I don't agree with the advice that Dr. Pia gave A-Catchy is, what if the person I'm with or the person I'm dealing with is not a respecter of man, of any man? So you want me to basically lead with my feelings, lead with my hurt, be more vulnerable, right? I'm not going to go so far as some people say victim blaming. I don't think it's that deep. But I do think that we got so bored with seeing the craziness of A-Catchy that now we just need something to do. So we go dissect everything about Like, if you just would have just did this or like, are you spicy in this way? Or like, are you doing this? And maybe it can actually alter your situation and give him, be in the backseat and don't touch the wheel and don't have no control, because if you do that, then it will alter what happened. I'm gonna tell you something about men. Some men are just born to be demons, right? Straight up, right? Because I know some of them, right? That is unmotivated, is unprovoked, and they just want to tear you down for whatever reason. You have done nothing, right? So it's kind of hard for me to look at what MM is doing, because I can see the frustration and I can see the suppressing of that she's doing to herself of like, I'm not going to crash out. I'm not going to crash out. Listen, I know what it looks like when you're holding back a crash out. Trust me, I know, right? So that's why I'm like, it's kind of hard for me to come and dissect where I feel like a lot of the actions that she's doing is reactionary to him, right? And one thing that she said in the scene, which we won't be able to see in this season, unfortunately, is she said, usually when someone courting me, I am not in control. I am not like this person that takes the wheel. And I think because she's been dealing with this guy for this season, we have this false image of him as if like she is this person that gotta be in control, that gotta take the lead. With whole time, he's been given the driver's seat and he haven't driven anywhere. He's been given the opportunity to do stuff and he haven't done anything. He has been mad at her for no reason. Something as simple as fish tacos when he said he wasn't even gonna be there for like the meeting. So it's like I am not gonna keep I am gonna keep bailing out of jail, a little Bill out of jail, because I see everything that she's doing is a reaction to what he's doing. And I don't want to get bored with what he's doing and saying, well, you could do this better. No. How about tell this person to stop smacking me across the face, as an analogy. He did not put his hands on nobody, right? Because when he smacked me the first time, I turned the other cheek. And then he comes back and smacked me the other way. I only got two cheeks. So I don't want to get in this predicament or in a situation, especially dealing with women, because a lot of women get told, hey, just be nicer, do this. I had somebody tell me straight up who was having problems with their husband and things like that. She went to his friend and said, what can I do to make him like me and things like that? This man say, wash his car. What did that even mean? do like you get what I'm saying? So it's like there's a lot of things that women you cannot do to make a man not be a maniac. He have to choose not to be a maniac for you not to react. You get what I'm saying? So I don't want to go so far as say victim blaming, but I think, and I'm going to give Dr. P a little bell because I want to be fair. I think if you're going to be committed to the process, right? Because listen here, you can say I want out, and that's what I want her to say. But if you're going to be committed to the process, I'm going to give you tips of what to do. So I'm not just gonna tell you sit there now. You get what I'm saying? But I think that's the only flaw, the only critique that I would give to is that, hey, you are deciding to stay. You get what I'm saying? Like he's not a respecter of man. So I don't want to look at her reactions as, oh, this is the person that is. I don't know who is, unfortunately. You get what I'm saying? Because right now she's been on defense. She had to react a lot. She's been feeling a lot of things. And she told us or gave us a little glimpse of who she is. When someone's courting me, I do not lead. And I don't want to project or predict her life of because you have your own business and because you are successful that you like to take the charge. I have not seen that on this show. So I'm not going to say that. Only thing I'm going to say is that you've been in reactionary mode with this man. And guess what? When you do see a challenge and things like that, or even as a woman, when you had that meeting with Dr. Peel, what you did, you chose to lead. You chose to lead with grace by saying, I think it's a defense mechanism. You get what I'm saying? And even that, I give you respect for, but I don't want to get in the habit or get into the arena, as I see a lot of other people doing, of dissecting MM's behavior when I feel like a lot of it is reactionary to it. You get what I'm saying?
So Juan and Carla, they enjoyed the meeting with Carla's family.
I'm going to stop you right there because Juan was walking down the street giving us a diary cam, and I did not like this scene. I think this was actually this kind of leads me back to the Carla point. He's doing a diary cam, talking to us, leaving his wife 5 blocks behind him. You straight didn't notice that?
I didn't. I was taking notes.
He's over there like we had a good time and things like that, and he's walking, and Carla is miles behind this guy.
Jeez.
And my thing is, if you're talking about we had a good time, it would have been nice for you to be holding the camera up, walking side by side with your wife, holding her hand and things of that nature. You just met her family. Something that was intimate to where they did not even want to be on camera. But we see you basically thinking it's the Juan show. And you're talking about her family, and I don't even see her in like the shot.
Yeah,
that's why I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna give Carla a little bail to get out of jail. I don't know if Carla's coldness to me in that scene is based on hey, this marriage hasn't really been what I thought, even though I gave him the playbook of what it will be, you know?
So Michelle is out to drinks with her friend.
Yeah.
The friend likes David, but really wants to get to know him a little bit better. Michelle tells her that he is fun and kind. He'll check in with her.
Yeah.
But she does bring up that weird text that she got, and she explained it to the friend.
It was weird.
Michelle thinks that text was for someone else. He met up with Allen and Madison, so he must have texted them. And she knows that there were other recent text messages. Michelle says, out of respect, we're going to wait to figure this out, and we're going to try to see where it goes. She thought that he was sexting, and she wants to see the receipts. I want to see this picture of this food he's talking about.
Yeah. Number one, Michelle, no, stop it. Even though, David, you're wrong, and we go talk about it in the last scene, but Michelle, you over here talk about out of respect. I thought you would at least wait to see where this is going. You have given a clear sign where this relationship is going. So don't try. That's why, her reaction is more, what's the word? Confusing to me. You already don't like the guy.
Yeah.
You already want an out. This is your out.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? But to make it seem like you're so offended because this guy that you were so into is texting another woman, I guess you just feel like the audacity of you who have nothing compared to what I have to basically treat me this way. You would not get away with this. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. But I'm like, Michelle, you don't like the guy. What what does it matter to you?
Yeah. So Allen and Madison wrote a letter to their younger selves.
Yeah.
Allen wrote to his 12-year-old self to pretty much realize his potential and own all that he is.
Yeah.
He struggled with self-confidence growing up. He spent a lot of time around women in his family, and he was more sensitive when it came to dating, which presented some challenges when it came to how he presented masculine.
Yeah.
Madison has dealt with a lot of loss and grief. Her grandmother passed away tragically in a car accident that almost took her grandfather and brother, and she's telling herself to spend more time with her grandmother. Her grandma knew the lack of a parent her mom was, and her dad was also working a lot, so her grandparents pretty much raised her. He wants to be a person pretty much that's there for her, and they are trying, but he wonders if it should even be this hard.
It's not that hard. That's all I got to say to that, because they basically going through the same thing. It's not that hard, Allen. It's really not. Trust your gut.
Agreed. Juan and Carla meet up with some of Carla's cousins. The meeting with her family went well. He's feeling like he's creating a stronger bond with the family. And the cousin asks, you guys are in this honeymoon phase, which they're not. But how are you guys going to be when times get tough?
Yeah.
So they'll discuss their feelings is what Carla's saying, and just try to listen to each other. Juan says that it is a lot of work, but they do get along. Carla is a more touchy-feely, affectionate person. Juan hasn't been so, he says, because everything is so new.
Stop.
The cousin says, but y'all made this commitment. Juan explains that the focus has been on figuring out the deeper stuff, and the physical will come organically.
And you're lying. This is a whole lying conversation. How can you have a deeper bond with the family without having a deeper bond with your wife?
Yeah.
Juan, that's why I come on here and say Juan is a fraud. You get what I'm saying? Because it's like you're just saying stuff you want to present well. It's almost like it's almost like he's on an interview every time.
Yeah.
Right? He's all talking about the bond with the family is strong. No, it's not. He's over here talking about we're not physical, and physical doesn't mean sex. Just hold a hand, right? Hey, when you're walking down the street, don't walk so fast that you're 5 blocks behind. And he's like, we're focused on the deeper stuff. No, it wasn't, because just a couple days ago, y'all was talking about something about a business plan. That's not deep. Yeah. That's very superficial. So that's why I'm like, Juan is a fraud, and I'm gonna talk deep about it probably this week.
Yeah, the only thing I want to say is that I really agree with your sentiment of basically Juan treating this like it's the Juan show.
Yeah.
When we're talking to Carla and how he's interacting with her, it seems to be everything that are his strengths, and it comes back to him and how great he is.
Yeah.
So she quit her job, and whatever happened with the job, and and so he has to give her all the advice on how to be a business person and how to be successful, because he is such a successful busy man. And it's not enough, I feel like, of Juan really stepping into Carla's world and learning from her and really experiencing her as a person. It seems like he wants to be the one to teach her how to level up. And I think that Juan is not interested. If if he is interested, he's not showing it. But I think that Juan is just a little bit self-centered. I think that he's more into showing all of the positives of his life, which are great. And those are things that you do definitely want to share with the partner. But I don't feel like he's taking enough interest in Carla.
Yeah.
So
I agree. I like that.
So we get to Michelle and David.
Oh, my goodness.
She brings up the text message. David thought that they were going to read their childhood letters. Michelle tells him now's not the time for that.
Yeah, boy.
We're going to get to the bottom of this text. David says that his cousin sent him a picture of a food. He said he was supposed to say, it looks so good, I want to eat it up. But he says, me and my cousins are foodies, and he calls it his baby, his number one. That's how he talks about food.
Oh, my goodness. He's adding things now, guys.
Michelle says, well, usually food is an it and not a you. And he says, well, me and my family aren't usual people. I know what I'm saying. I'm sticking to it. Me and my family, we call our food you. He tried to delete it so she wouldn't get this idea, but he has nothing to hide. He even said, I'll show you my phone if I want you to.
Yeah.
And she says, all right, let's see the photo. Let's see this fine food. And David says that he's not trying to get into this.
What?
Okay. It was a photo of food, and Michelle gets to drilling down. Okay, what the food looked like, what the plate looked like. Was your cousin in the picture? What was your cousin wearing?
Yeah.
And he was like, Chinatown, dumplings, something exotic.
The plate white.
I ain't never been to Chinatown. I don't know. And Michelle's like, you can't even describe the food. And she tells him he's getting defensive. David explains, look, I don't have any photo of the food, so there's no evidence.
There's no evidence.
Have you texted other girls during this marriage? Michelle asked. David texted a girl, Danielle, that he dated on Tinder. He actually went out for coffee with her.
Okay.
He also texted a girl who he says was his friend, and then another girl that he met up who he dated on Tinder in the past as well. He says, I'm friends with my exes. Okay. And Michelle says that is not okay. He says that, we didn't have a discussion on if that was okay or not. Michelle says that her feelings are hurt, that he's reaching out to other women. He has respect for her, and he would never try to disrespect her in any type of way. He was just texting friends and meeting up with friends, so he says. Michelle does not believe him. He's just trying to be done with the conversation, and she doesn't think she'll ever find out the truth. David would appreciate if she just takes what he's saying, and he is done with the conversation. So they finish the conversation. Michelle gets up, and she says, for the record, you're lying.
Listen here, man. My wife was laughing so hard at this conversation.
I was.
She was laughing so hard. We was cackling. I think her sign is the best sign we ever had on this show, in my opinion. I want to give respect to that. That's why you always blame it on the alcohol. And where do we start with this?
I'll say my piece.
Yeah, it's so much that I'm just like, David, what the hell?
Yeah, David, we know you're lying, and he's just deciding to stick to the lie.
Yeah.
I will touch on the fact that, Michelle, you don't like this man. Are your feelings really hurt? I think she was just happy and excited to call him out on something. And I also think that, if anything, she felt disrespected because we're supposed to be in a marriage and you're acting like this nice guy, but you're not as nice as you claim to be, which she knew, which is... Let her tell it. That's why she was so mean.
Let her tell it, right?
But for David, David, you're lying. We all know you're lying. The story is like a load of BS.
Yeah.
And it's actually sad in a way, because I had in my head that David was just a little bit delusional, but now I think he's a liar.
Oh, no, that's worse. That's worse.
So my empathy towards David and how he feels about his situation living at home, and how much he where he can be within the next 2 years.
He might not even be up for a promotion, for all we know.
For all we know, he might not be up for a promotion. So I think that David, I think he lies to other people, and I think that he might even lie to himself about the reality of situations. So Michelle, I would say stop being mean to the man. Okay. but leave the man. Listen, man, 100%. But David, come on. Yeah. Come on. How dumb do you think we all are?
Yeah, I'm not. Listen here. I was born yesterday. Yeah. Right. First of all, David, I've been told you I feel vindicated because everybody kept telling me, David's so nice, and David, even on after shows, David's so nice, and how could she do this to you? David is a child, and if he's lying to Michelle, and if he's lying to everybody, I know for a fact he's lying to his mama. You get what I'm saying? Because a liar don't care who it tells a lie to, right? First of all, the fact that you're talking to all these women, this is my problem with all of this. I don't have actually a problem with you talking to these women. I have a problem with you lying about it. Same. And for you being spineless, right? Be a man and say, oh, you care that I talk to women? You ain't talking to me.
Yeah.
You champion to the expert that we talked for 20 minutes.
Michelle. Mm-hmm.
Michelle. So it's like, don't seem like you. But thing about it is, he hide behind that nice persona. He hide behind that jolly persona and things of that nature. Where really, at the end of the day, he just be talking like this, doing things like this, and he's a child. It's. I don't want to give Michelle too much respect because at the end of the day, I don't know if she knew all this at the wedding. Remember, she crashed out at the wedding, right? But my thing is, we knew. I knew. I want y'all to give me my respect, right? Right? Because I told y'all from episode 1, I said there's no man who can move out wants to live with his parents. It's just no way, right? Especially, I felt more vindicated when I saw his basement, right? So it's like, David just has a way of, he kind of like lures you in with his character. That's why it may be perfect. His character and his personality, based on what we've seen on the show, may be perfect for Tinder because he can give you his character in short bursts, and it can pull you in. But long term, it may set you back 10 years, just like what Michelle said. Listen here, I'm gonna talk more about this in a deep dive. But what I'm saying right here, blame it on the alcohol. Do not just. Why would you bring your cousin into this? A cousin that she could get in touch with, as we're going to see in the preview for the next episode. It's just like, now you're not even thinking, and now you got the teacher asking for your phone, and he's like, I'm not going to give you my phone, Pastor Kyle. It's like, oh, David, it's just a mess.
Yeah.
Anything else that happened on this episode?
That's all I got.
Make sure, as I told y'all before, this episode is coming out immediately. The after party will come out tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern. 9 o'clock Eastern, look for the after party. We will have it up and ready for you. All right?
Bye.
Bye-bye.